why hemp product? For you, why hemp product? Was there a story behind it? I mean, you could have picked, 1,000 other things.
Yes, so there was a story behind it. I actually first forayed into business. I started up an organic juice business, and so I've been looking into kind of the health product market for a little while. When I started that up, actually, it's kind of a long story, but I actually wasn't able to get it off the ground because the wholesaler couldn't integrate the website with my website that I had built up, so I kind of, had to just scratch that essentially. It was too much effort to actually get to market, but I learned quite a bit about organic products in that time. And I actually stumbled kind of upon hemp products, and I thought that it was an interesting market there because I had never really heard about the actual benefits of hemp before. I just heard of it being associated with marijuana. So I was kind of unsure as to what the differences would be, and so I looked further into the product and found that it actually has quite a bit of health benefits. And so since I kind of was getting into that healthier trend, and I personally wanted to eat healthier because I don't eat as healthy as I want to necessarily, so I was looking into that and I found hemp products, and I really thought that this was kind of a niche that was untapped in America, that we could really bring the product and educate people and help consumers out. So I believe Steve.
Okay, I got this kind of questions. On the presentation, you gave us, an overview of the product, but I still don't know what the product is.
So
I don't know what your business is.
Yeah.
Because that's where it's lacking. Do you resell products? Do you
Yes, we do.
make products or whatever? See, and that's, if you could help me understand that, because
Yeah.
I didn't see that.
Yeah, no, it's not a problem at all. So I'm sorry that I didn't go into that further, but to explain a little bit further, so we right now are a distributor of hemp seed oil. So hemp seed oil is our first product to market. We're focused solely on creating value with the hemp seed oil first, and then looking into other hemp products along the line there. We source our products all from Canada right now, so we have to import it all in. We have suppliers up in Canada that we've done business with before. We have two actually main suppliers, and we have one that's a more just strictly distribution route. So that's why we need to get our minimums up to get the first order from them to be able to go to the co-packer. Essentially, what we have to do is we are looking to mostly do wholesale sales to businesses and such. But for right now, since the product's so new to market, we have to actually do a retail distribution route as well to help to show that the wholesalers that there's value there and that they could actually get the retailers or the retail consumers into their stores to buy the hemp seed oil product.
I would recommend that when you do your presentation, anytime you take a picture of the product or service or something so we can grab it. Like, I see the demo up here, we're looking forward to that. But something, at least say, this, for example, here's one of the products.
Gotcha, okay. Yeah.
And that would help to visualize what you're doing a little bit better.
Okay, awesome. Thank you. I appreciate that. Yes, sir.
Yeah, who are your customers? That should be, the first slide in your presentation. I have no idea who your customers are.
Okay. Yeah, so sorry about that. Yeah, so we're focused on the health and wellness market. So we're really looking into the supplement market as well. So we're really kind of that dietary supplement product. So we're looking at kind of a 26 to about 65 age range, and we're looking at going to consumers that are already consuming fish oil and available supplements, and we're looking to kind of switch over into hemp seed oil type product.
But give me an example of a customer.
So-
Your explanation, sure, that didn't help.
Okay.
I mean, give me a concrete example of 2 or 3 customers.
Gotcha. Okay, so vegan customers are our main market segment of ours. They don't get the omegas through different sources, so they actually need to source it through different plant-based materials. Our product is actually one of the best ways to get vegan consumers omega essential fatty acids into their diets. So vegans are one of our main ones, vegetarians as well.
What is it? What?
Vegans and vegetarians, so people who
don't eat meat.
don't eat meat or eat it.
Well, so you sell your product to individual vegetarians?
Is online your only market, so you're not selling to retailers yet?
Okay, yes, I'm sorry. So online is our only marketable platform right now. So we're focused on building up the online platform, and we are looking to go into retailers. So local mom and pop.
So you wait for a vegetarian to go to your website before you have a customer? Is that the way it works?
I'm sorry, I'm not really understanding the question.
No,
Yeah, I'm sorry.
I'm just trying to
Well,
understand.
do you already have finished product, but it
customers
sounds
are.
like it's, as a wholesale, you're bringing in these, the hemp, okay?
Yeah.
So are you putting it in capsules and liquid, or do you just have the
Yeah.
raw materials?
Okay,
I
so,
think that's where I'm
Gotcha,
a little
okay.
confused, right?
okay, so we ship in the hemp seed oil in bulk.
Right.
And then we repackage, we've partnered with the co-packer to repackage that individually into our branded hemp seed oil containers. And then we would sell the branded Alpha hemp seed oil containers to wholesalers and retailers through our e-commerce platform.
Through
So
social
it's-
So
media.
as a
Through social media,
manufacturing
through
question,
different things,
so
yes.
what that means is when you're bringing this in, it's already, it's in its proper format.
Yes,
You don't
yes.
have to
Yeah,
add
I don't have to do
additives
anything
and,
to it. Yep.
you know, make it into some kind of, you just take it and put it in, now it's in this
Okay.
and now,
Yep.
there you go.
Yes,
My
so we are
label.
just a pure distributor. We don't do anything from the production aspect of the product.
As the
Yeah.
hemp
No,
seed
but what
oil
you do,
comes
you're
in, it's
manufacturing.
ready to go, it's ready to sell.
Yeah, that's correct.
Got it, okay.
I actually have a distinguishable target market for you. In this area, I represent about 10 to 11 holistic health practitioners in this area. And they're really big on hemp. They already know what it is. There's not a lot of access to it, and there's a lot of holistic festivals that are coming up. There's a lot of naturopaths that are coming. Virginia Beach especially is becoming a very center for holistic health. You'd be huge on the West Coast as well. So if you market directly to those practitioners, you probably sell whatever your product is in like a day or two. So all it would take, honestly, is a reach out to them with the brochure of what it is that you're selling. They already know the product. They know what it does. You don't have to go through the whole explanation process. And your price point is right, which, I mean, in the holistic health range realm, most prices of things are very, very high.
Yeah.
So if you're under like $80, somebody's gonna, buy a bottle of whatever it is you have. So if I were you, I would focus solely on holistic health practitioners right now, which, would include your vegans. Most of them, people who go see them are vegans, vegetarians, paleos, that type of thing.
Okay, thank you very much. I appreciate that. Yes, sir.
So how do I use it? Do I cook with it? Do I take a tablet, like a fish oil tablet? Do I take a spoonful of it every morning?
Yeah.
How
Great question. Yeah, great question. So essentially, you cannot cook with it. So the health properties will actually be lost if you actually cook with it. So it's more of an add-on. So you use it in kind of salad dressings, smoothies, different things like that. It's kind of more of a dietary supplement, like you were saying, to actually get those essential fatty acids that you would
Do you
need.
have a capsule form I could just? Like
Yeah,
a
so
fish oil tablet?
we are moving into capsule form. We don't have it right now, specifically right now I just have the hemp seed oil, but that's actually our second product that we're looking to go to market with is actually just hemp seed capsules themselves. They're gonna be packaged out in 100 milligram capsules, and then you're only gonna need to take essentially 2 of those a day. Yes, sir.
I think one of your biggest challenges is gonna be your image,
Yes.
because when I hear hemp, I'm like, forget it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think one of the things that I would say for your presentation is I think you need maybe some video of some testimonials. I think some of the questions about how I think you need a better explanation of actually how you use it.
Okay.
The minute you put hemp with cannabis, you're gonna turn off 80% of the public.
Gotcha.
So you need to figure out a way to get over that hurdle.
Okay.
And say, yes, it is, but, and then get on to the benefits and how you do it and the product use and what have you. I think, a pig is a pig even if you put lipstick on it.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
you've got to figure that out, how you overcome the image of hemp.
I agree, yes. And we were looking into utilizing PR a lot so that we can get the media attention and actually bring the knowledge onto the products. So we are looking down that route. I appreciate it.
Yeah, and I agree with Bill, but I also say Million Cups puts a stringent timeline on your 6 minutes and everything, so, so I think in the beginning, you kind of address that right off the bat, so I was pretty pleased with that, because you didn't want to really super detail.
Yeah.
But in a bigger presentation, Bill's exactly right, you'd want to kind of hit that a little harder. But I would say in your presentation, like Bill, or I'm sorry, the others were saying that, I think that probably need to have a little segment about your product itself, because it was lost in that.
Yeah.
You were educating us on the industry, but you didn't tell us about your business really at all.
Yeah.
And my last follow-up question is, I take fish oil every day, and so surprisingly, I'm an old school doctor who doesn't really go into a lot of holistic kind of medicine, and he's like very traditional, but he does believe in that. And he advises me, because I've had heart issues before in my life, so it's something that I do on a pretty strict regimen. I take 2 of those a day, 1,200 milligrams. So what is it? Is there any science behind this that actually the medical community would be behind the hemp oil product for heart
Yeah, so most of these studies have not been done specifically on hemp seed oil, unfortunately, because it's been kind of Schedule I for a while, so it's been kind of shoved into the dark corner, where we don't do research on anything, unfortunately. But what has actually happened is we have quite a few studies on omegas specifically, and since the hemp seed oil actually does contain the omega benefits, then we can kind of say, hey, these studies are kind of based off our product. There actually has been one academic study specifically done on hemp seed oil, but it was actually due to dermatitis. So it was actually the effects of hemp seed oil or dietary hemp seed oil on atopic dermatitis, and they actually found that incredibly it does have quite a few health benefits as far as the dermatitis goes. So we actually are eventually looking to move into cosmetics and different things like that. Yep. So, yes. Sorry, there's, yeah.
I understand the market. You are focused on the health, natural health industry, and before there was only heritage in this area. Now organic is all over the place. So it's just like that. It's spreading, but your price point, like I don't know your prices, but I just did a little Google search, and there's many hemp oil in the market already.
Yes.
So what makes it different? Because these people really focus on the purity of the product.
Yes.
How can you guarantee that? I mean, is there any point that you can sell it that way, or are you just one of the competitors with the rest?
Yeah, so to kind of address that question in two realms, essentially. So there are hemp seed oil distributors, and most of them right now are located in Canada, so they're doing business out of Canada and just importing it into the United States. There are only about 2 major players in the United States market. That's Nativa and Healthy Hemp, which is in Pennsylvania. So those are the 2 kind of competitors that we would be really in the U.S. market competing with specifically. Now, as far as the organic side of it, I actually get it fully organic. I have a bunch of certifications, and this is actually my wholesale bottle. I actually sold out of my original. We just had our opening day on Saturday, so I actually sold out of my bottles. So I have my wholesale bottle right here. As you can see, we actually have access to quite a few different labels. So we have USDA organic, vegan-friendly, gluten-free, kosher, non-GMO. The thing about that is, though, in order to get those on my actual bottle, I have to go through the recertification process, so I have to actually get the capital up to recertify those different things, and then I can actually put that on my bottle and help to sell it as a mostly organic or a organic product from them.
So how about the other ones? I mean, did you look at your competitors, if they are organic, or are they competing, or are you just keeping up with them?
Yeah, so the competitors, as far as that goes, they are, some of them are organic, some of them are just a natural kind of hemp seed oil. It just depends on where they're getting it, what kind of sources from there. So I'm not necessarily trying to compete on price with the other distributors, because I think that we're kind of introducing a new market segment here, because actually it's only about 3% of Americans right now have actually tried hemp seed oil before, which is kind of incredible. So we have kind of this wide open market side. I wanted to go with a little bit higher luxury price point for that organic price point at first, and then we can look into kind of dropping that down and being more competitive in the long run. Yes, sir.
One, you have a good price point, $9.95. Everybody's curious. That's pretty good, really.
How much?
$9.95 for what size?
That's for 200. That's the 500. So that would be the
500. So
yeah.
That's within you go down to the heritage. That's within anything you see there. So that's not a bad price point. Share with me a little bit about your marketing plan.
Okay. Yes. So as far as the offline marketing goes, we're really, as I said, we're kind of focusing on the PR campaigns to kind of get the product out to market, introduce people, and kind of educate people a little bit more on the actual hemp seed oil and the benefits of the hemp seed oil. So we're looking at really focusing on that, and then we're also looking at running the Kickstarter campaign. So what we're doing with the Kickstarter campaign is we're trying to raise the capital to do the initial run, like I said. With that, we're actually doubling. I actually am also working with a screen printing company. So we have access to the shirts. So we're doing 2 shirts that you can essentially purchase into. So once you donate $20 to Kickstarter, then we'd market the shirt essentially to you for free, and then you get either choice of one of the shirts. One of them says it's like Let America Grow Hemp Again, and then one of them is I help I support making big dreams possible through small businesses. So it's just like a little small graphic tee to say, hey, listen, you guys donated in, so you can kind of little bit of branding and get that going. As far as the online marketing aspect, we have our Facebook, Twitter, Instagram page. I'm really looking more into starting to run more giveaways so that I can capture more email addresses. So I'm really looking to grow my email list and be able to market and remarket to email list customers.
I give you a suggestion right now, you got a nice section on recipes, you need to hit the recipes a little bit more.
Yeah.
I do think you're, right off the front, you do explain everything, got some nice graphics on your website.
Thank you.
Doesn't have to be overly fancy, but it's really not, you got real nice pictures of food.
Thank you.
So, I work on that, I would then try to cross-pollinate your Facebook page. When did you launch your Facebook page?
We started working on that back in about January, I would say. Or actually, I think it was like February. Yeah.
Anyway, I can chat with you on how to build that up without tricks.
I actually have been trying to do Facebook ads. I love Facebook ads. I've been trying to do them, and they don't let me because they think it's illegal. So I got to call
I know,
Facebook.
but there's organic stuff you
Yeah.
can do, because what I'm looking at is I look at your total likes and follows, you got room to move there.
Yeah.
So but I'm looking at if you can take and then on the Facebook become very, not only, well, you've got a two-front, I agree with you, you've got a two-front problem or opportunity here. You've got the PR saying, this is not bad.
Yeah.
And, you know, you've got that you gotta work with, but then here's some good stuff you can do.
Yeah.
So the healthy benefits, so it's really a kind of two-pronged type of
Okay.
approach. So you can play off of it. As for using your Facebook, you can use your Facebook with the healthy recipes. You need to pull more of the recipes in.
Gotcha.
Become the resident source of that in studies and all that. So there's a whole strategy can be worked on that. And love the idea of a Kickstart campaign, but what is, you're saying the Kickstart campaign is to help you for your next batch, or?
Yeah, essentially to get our run capacity up to meet the co-packer standards, we have to bring it up a little bit. I did a first initial run with them, and they did a lower minimum, but they wanted to get the essentially 50 gallons.
So what's your target?
So we're looking at trying to raise 3,000.
How much?
3,000.
3,000?
Yeah, so if we get 150 people to donate and get the t-shirt, then we would be at our goal.
And you would be the one, if I was gonna do a Facebook ad, I would geographically target it and target it into, build on the existing market. I would target into Colorado
Gotcha.
and all that, I would.
Yeah, okay.
You're trying to build the interest here, there you've got the heritage, you've got the ARE, you have a long, many-decade history of health-conscious individuals and people that will do alternative medicines. You can tap into that, you can be involved in that, but you have a really burning up the world type of a market out there, and they don't know any difference, and they have no bias, no problems, no nothing.
Gotcha.
So there's a whole thing where you could use the ads, but then demographically target.
Gotcha.
And then tell me why, while you're doing that, tell us why your hemp bottle is better than the other hemp bottle,
Gotcha, okay.
hemp oil bottle. And that's going, you're very correct, is what's gonna distinguish you. I think what you had on the bottle about being kosher and all these certifications is a very good start-off point
Yes.
that you could throw in.
I agree.
And I'd like to see how you get your kosher certification.
Yes, well, so that right now, that's what I was saying. So I can't, I have to re-certify to get these. So my.
No, I'm saying, that's an interesting,
Yes.
I would chat with you on that one. That was kind of cool.
Yeah.
Have you considered influencer marketing for Instagram? Because I feel like that would be huge. Honestly, if you guys don't have the capital right now, if you go strictly through influencer marketing and you design an affiliate program around it, like $1 or $2, that's what Flat Tummy Tea did, and they didn't have any startup capital hardly. They were into a I think maybe like $5 or $6 million a month.
Okay.
Or something crazy like that. So I honestly, I don't know if you have Instagram. Well, yeah, you do.
I do.
I just totally saw that.
Yeah, no.
But influencers get maybe like 10 to 20. You're in college. It shouldn't be hard to find people who know what hemp is, or you know. So that would be my suggestion. You can grow that very quickly and cheaply. So.
Yeah, I like that suggestion. And we have been looking into influencers in the kind of vegan society, essentially for Instagram. So we have been looking into that. I like that idea a lot. Yes. Yes.
I buy a lot of t-shirts and your price point's way too low. You're not gonna, 2 t-shirts for $20, are you kidding me?
No. One t-shirt for $20.
Still not enough.
So
It's still not enough.
The t-shirt
I-
costs
I'm
probably
not- I'm not
$2.
used to doing the wholesale margin on t-shirts, should I do that all day, every day pretty much, so, yeah, not at the retail market. What would you, put as the price?
I'd say at least 25 for one t-shirt, yeah, round it up to an even number.
$24.99.
Gotcha, okay. Yes, ma'am.
How do you compare to the CBD oil?
So CBD is actually it's kind of a gray area. So CBD itself is, for the medicinal purposes specifically, is grown through the marijuana plant. So that is, there's a big gray area there now. A lot of wholesalers claim that they have CBD. They actually make it through industrial hemp, so they kind of do the same process that I have going, and they claim it as CBD products essentially. But the actual legitimate CBD is grown specifically for CBD. That's through the marijuana plant. That's only legal in Colorado, Washington State, different states that have kind of gone that way. Now, Virginia specifically, you can obtain it, but CBD products, but you have to actually go through a ton of different licenses. So you have to be, I think, like an AIDS patient or have some kind of cancer, severe, something like that. And so they have CBD products on the market right now that you can go buy at vape shops and different things like that. They're actually kind of mismarketing you a little bit because it's actually industrial hemp that they're using and not actual legitimate CBD. Yep. So it's kind of a gray market there because a lot of people don't understand that niche as much, and so they don't understand what kind of products and the differences would be, because hemp seed oil will give you most of the benefits that CBD would provide to you. It's just kind of a different way of consuming it essentially. Yes, sir.
You mentioned that you have studies that show the health benefits. If you can work that into your presentation, that would be a lot more beneficial, because just saying that you have studies, I mean, there's a study that can prove just about anything.
Yeah, okay.
So maybe have something certified that says, look, this is by the Food and Drug Administration, such and such, or whatever.
Okay.
Someone, like that. Another thing is, I looked at your nutritional facts on your website, and 2 tablespoons, which is a serving size, contains 246 calories.
Yes.
That's a lot.
So does fish oil. I mean, fish oil?
Does it?
Yeah.
I take a prescription of Vasa. It's a fish oil by my cardiologist. And that's $100 a month just for me with my prescription card. So if you get that price down below that, I would take that versus Vasa.
Gotcha. Yeah, I think
If the studies,
plant-based
say
substances,
this.
they still have the calories in there.
It just seems kind of high.
It's like,
Well, I don't know how much, olive oil,
Times.
any oil should be.
Yeah, but I'm not drinking olive oil.
But you are putting it to your salad.
Yeah.
But if you put it in your salad or
If you put it in
salad
your
dressing,
salad,
ranch dressing has a lot.
Yes, sir.
So walk me through, somebody comes to your website and they order your product.
Yes, sir.
Now and you've got a co-packer that brings it in from Canada in 50-gallon drums or whatever and puts it in your little bottle.
Yes.
How does it now get from the order is placed to in the mail to the customer? Do you maintain inventory in a garage somewhere? Do you have a co-packer drop ships it for you? How does it go from order to fulfillment?
That's a very good question. So we actually have a warehouse space that we're going to be storing the inventory in. Once we get the first run in, we actually have a warehouse available that I use for the screen print. So we'll actually be able to store the hemp seed oil in there for the first run, and then we're looking into actually moving into another warehouse ourselves, and then we'll be able to have the refrigerated storage and everything like that. So I'm looking into that right now. As far as the when I order, so I order in the bulk hemp seed oil. It goes to my distributor. The distributor the co-packer, I'm sorry. And once the co-packer packages everything up, then I would go, actually I'm working with 2 right now, and so I'm still trying to see, one's actually in Virginia Beach, which would be excellent, and I could actually just go pick the bottles up and kind of bring it in. The other one's in Bedford, so I'd have to get it either shipped or drive out there to see what I can do with that. As far as that goes though, I would be getting the actual full end product, and then I would be shipping the product to consumers from the warehouses.
So you'll do that, like just basically go fill boxes every day and put labels on and pick them up?
Yeah, pretty much, yeah. So right now, that would be where we're at, and then eventually, once we kind of got our volume up, then we might be looking into a scenario where we would have the co-packer try and ship them out for us, just depending on where our kind of relationship goes with it there. I'm still working that out as far as the supply chain for future more volume. Yep.
So you mentioned your screen printing.
Yes.
So you have another business. Maybe you
Yes.
should mention to people what what is it?
Okay, yeah, so my other business is Arts and Inks, so we do custom screen printing for businesses, organizations, schools. And so I do that as my full-time job right now, and I do this at night. Yes, sir.
Me?
Yes.
So, two things back to the customer. So we would be like a target customer
Yeah.
because we pay astronomical prices for mercury-free fish oil
Yeah.
because we're extremely But back to the anyways, back to the calorie point. Another market where you can even narrow it down is it's a small market, but everyone goes to the people who are trying to lose weight. There's a whole market of people like him who have extremely high metabolisms, and it's extremely hard to get the calories in that are healthy. So if that's 240 calories in a spoonful, to him that's like 8 plus. I mean, take a spoonful and that's 240 calories. When I have to buy, if I'm buying healthy food to get him 240 calories, the price point's going to be way lower. So that could be something you could look into, that whole other market of people who need healthy ways to keep their metabolism up.
Yeah, I like that a lot. That's actually my scenario too.
Exactly.
Yeah, that was my scenario 2 years ago.
Yeah, that's what everyone tells them.
Did your presentation include a comparison chart of like cod liver oil, fish oil, olive oil, and what yours?
We didn't have a comparison as far as the olive oil perspective goes, but we did on fish oil. So we did touch on kind of the differences between fish oil, so the mercury content in fish oil as opposed to not having any mercury content in the hemp seed oil specifically. As far as olive oil, I did not touch on that. Olive oil is not it's not necessarily a product that you would use as like a health supplement product, so it's more of kind of a cooking, healthier.
What about cod liver oil? 'Cause I know my mom used to try to feed that to us. We were doing that.
That's a good question. I haven't actually looked into the comparison on that, so I gotta do some more research on that. Yeah.
All right, so what are the chances that the United States would ever make hemp growing in the United States legal? Because presumably, being that hemp is one side of the equation for reproduction, you're gonna have cannabis, the marijuana side, to reproduce the hemp. So how do you grow hemp without growing marijuana?
So this is a struggle right now. So what we've had going in is we actually have in Virginia, we passed a farm bill in 2015, so we can actually grow industrial hemp for research purposes in Virginia. I can't get a hold of any of that, it's only for research right now. So we are moving towards that. We actually had a bill introduced in Virginia this year, in fact, and it was to legalize fully the production of industrial hemp to wholesalers and people such as myself, essentially. But they shot that one down, unfortunately. So we're still kind of moving in that direction.
Can I grow just hemp?
Yeah, so we're moving in that direction. So the problem that the DEA brings up quite a bit is that, hey, if we have these hemp fields out here, then farmers can kind of stick marijuana plants in between them, and they won't be able to tell which is the hemp and which is the marijuana. Unfortunately, that doesn't make too much sense because the male hemp product would completely decimate the ability of cross-breed essentially with the marijuana, so it would be rendered useless, so nobody would really do that. But the problem is that they're saying that it could be a possibility that they would hide these plants around.
But can you grow hemp without marijuana?
Yeah.
How do you get new hemp without, putting the male plant and the female plant together to make, baby plants?
So it right now, essentially, it's pretty complicated, honestly, with that. As far as that goes, the laws on it in some states specifically, so Colorado, Washington State, different things like that, they have fully legalized cannabis in general. So that, as a kind of byproduct of that, legalized the industrial hemp movement, so they can grow everything essentially in Colorado, Washington State. The other states, as far as that's concerned, right now we have Kentucky just passed a law just to do industrial hemp. It's mostly the state laws right now, and so it's kind of complicated. As far as Virginia is concerned specifically, though, we got a little ways to go as far as getting the actual just full industrial hemp production in line, but we have had quite a few bills. As far as the actual planting of the seeds go, they're different seeds, and so they would have different results as far as if you planted a male seed, it would grow a hemp plant, you wouldn't have any
Where do you
product.
get the seeds?
So you get the seeds from seed supplier. Right now you get them in Canada, honestly, because Canada is the only place that you can actually get the hemp seeds in bulk right now, or Canada or Chile, one, and you have to import them in right now, and you have to get DEA approval, and you have to get quite a few different licensing things to actually be able to bring those seeds in. Does that kind of answer the question? Yeah. It's very complicated as far as that actual seed in the ground to be planted goes. So right now, the state laws have kind of mucked it up a little bit. So what we're trying to do essentially is, since we started out the distribution aspect now, we want to implant ourselves in the market so that once the American market kind of falls down, which eventually it will, then we can be there to say, you know, hey, we can start supplying all American-made and grown hemp. So that's what we're looking at in the future, but we're still kind of waiting on the legislation to be able to come into that realm. Yes.
So what would be either the cost difference or whatever, if you could grow in Virginia versus if you're getting it in the oil direct from Canada? Is it a 50% reduction in cost? Is it even cost? Why the difference of focusing on it being grown in Virginia?
So
or in the United States?
So right now, it's not cost competitive to grow it in the United States. The infrastructure's not there. There's
50%?
not.
I mean, what's the difference?
So the eventual difference would be we wouldn't have to ship it in. We wouldn't have to get the customs checked. It's a lot of cost on us to get it actually imported in. So that's a decent amount of our kind of overhead that we have to put on the bottles. If we were able to just.
You pay a tariff on import?
I'm
You're
sorry.
importing the oil, you're the importer of the oil. You pay a tariff on it?
Yeah, so yeah, so we have to pay everything to get it to us essentially, and so that would just reduce the cost as far as actually getting it into us, and then it would reduce, because some of the, once we get into more bulk wholesale, I'm gonna have to start shipping in drums essentially, and then the drums will be much more expensive to get it into the US as opposed to if I had it in Virginia, I had to source on it. But right now, unfortunately, in the U.S., since the infrastructure's not there, it's not price competitive for me to get it from anywhere in the U.S. right now. So as the market kind of expands and moves into it, that's what we would be looking into. Yes, sir.
It appears to be a commodity market, so that means that your prices are capped by your other competitors. So is there any way to differentiate your product from others?
As far as I'm concerned, right now, as I said, in the United States specifically, it's a newer market. So we have the ability to kind of go out, capture a decent amount of this market, and not actually have to argue on as far as price competitive in the U.S. goes right now. But as far as the international expansion, then we would have to start lowering our margins. Right now, our margins are very nice, so we would have to definitely start kind of scaling that back, especially in the wholesale. Right now, we have about a 50% margin, honestly, in wholesale. So we have to start scaling that back down to, you know, your 25, 30 range that you'd be seeing normally. So, yeah. Yes, sir.
I have two-stage question actually. One is, when you produce this, do you, like, you know, you can make fabric out of hemp strands. Are you ruining that possibility, or can you still have it as a, you know, like compress it, get the oil, and then use the rest for something else?
So with these specifically, this is from the seeds. So the seeds would only be, you would either eat the whole seed, you would hold the seed, and you could eat that, or you would turn it into the oil. So there's a few different things that you could do with the seed specifically, but it's not at the actual plant yet, so you wouldn't be able to process the fiber or do anything like that.
The fibers can be used separately,
Exactly,
so
yeah.
okay.
So that would be for different products. So that's more of the fabrics, textiles,
Correct.
you know, construction kind of market that we would eventually be looking into, but right now we're focusing on health food.
And the other question is, you mentioned that there is a little bit of narcotic aspect on even in the male one.
Yep.
So does any of that pass into that?
Yep, so it's a good question. So right now, in order for hemp to be imported in the United States, it has to be below a 0.2 parts per million THC per gram or something. And so right now, our distributor is actually 0.02 parts per billion. So you would have to essentially eat the whole room full of hemp seed oil to maybe not fail a drug test. You probably would still pass, honestly, and you definitely would not get high health. So it would be kind of physically impossible for me to really drink enough that I would ever feel any kind of effects or have any kind of negative things that might happen, drug test failures, anything like that. So does that kind of answer the question?
Yep, definitely.
Yes, sir.
So,
the problem I see with your product right now is it's a commodity
Yep.
with the way you've branded yourself. And a commodity, there's no brand loyalty, it's just price shopping. I would suggest removing the word hemp from all your marketing on a marketing campaign. Call yourself either alpha oil or alpha plant oil, and then you become a health and wellness solution rather than a commodity. So, and then see what kind of results that campaign generates. Maybe it's a possibility for rebranding.
Okay. Yeah, I'll definitely look into it.
Good idea.
Consideration.
Yeah, no, that's a good idea.
Because there's so much education.
Yeah,
That's-
no, I agree, yeah, the reason why I did Alpha Hemp Industries at the start is I'm trying to build kind of that overland conglomerate for the hemp product business, but I do agree that maybe it would be nicer to focus in it first, and then kind of expand out from there.
Right. And then you remove the stigma of hemp,
Yep.
so.
Yeah, yes, sir.
Yeah, because with the first thing that I searched with your Instagram, I typed in alpha hemp, but the one that I came across was hemp alpha, and it's directed towards like smoking weed, and
Yeah.
doing drugs and all that stuff.
Gotcha,
So
okay, yeah.
is that fine line that?
Yep.
is
No,
being
that's a good
crossed
idea,
there?
yeah, I'll definitely look at that.
So what can 1 million cups do for you?
So you guys have helped me quite a bit. I'm really looking for advice on continuing to carry this company. What I'm really looking to eventually do is incorporate myself. So I'm looking to go down that route. I've never had any companies incorporated, so I need some help in that aspect. And then, as I said, the PR campaign, we're really focused in on public education, so eliminating that stigma. So any help that we could get as far as getting the word out there and kind of eliminating that would be excellent.
Well, I want to remind everybody that Austin is still in school. I know it said that we were graduating. It's probably because graduation happened this weekend, but he's got another 1.5 years to go, and I think he's really smart. Here's a cup for your coffee.
Thank you very much.
Let's help a college student.
Yeah, and we